So we're trying to make sure this is all covered. This is moving northeast at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. We'll back this up just a little bit. All right, so this is still plotting in Tupelo just before 10 o'clock. So this thing could affect somewhere in the city limits of Tupelo by 10. So you need to be in your safe zone now. We're giving you at least 10, 15, 20 minutes or more lead time on this if it does hold together. So really, if you're in the know, you'll be good. You'll be fine. If you're in your safe zone, if you know where to be, that's always the best place to be, and you'll ride this out just fine. The last thing we want you to do is panic and not have that place to go and then be unprepared as something like this rolls on through. And just backing things out just a tad, as we mentioned hours ago, if we're not talking about your area, we're really not too concerned about the weather in your area at this time. So we are really concerned about southeastern Mdot County, and we're going to fly back on into Mdot County right now because this thing is really ramped on up and it's still with us. We still have this, looks like good inflow knots going on, areas of rotation. We've got wind probably flowing in like this, swirling back around like that, and it's rotating. Yeah, right there. It's rotating within the storm. So it is 9:31. I'm Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. We are preempting your programming tonight. We have a confirmed tornado warning, confirmed damage across the region. We've had at least a recent touchdown, we think, as of 5-10 minutes ago, somewhere near the Goodford area of Mdot County. This is our debris detector. And that, we think, was at least a brief tornado touchdown 5-6 minutes ago. Now, is it still with us? We do not know at this point. We are assuming it is. We almost have to assume that it is. And we are still looking at some tremendous signatures on radar. Here's our velocity. Again, wind flowing towards the radar site, wind going away. The wind is rotating within this. We're still looking at our low-level scan right here. So we've got the low-level cylinder plotting, and that just means we've got extra momentum as far as data coming in to confirm that what we already know, that this has been a confirmed tornado, could still be a confirmed tornado. And we need to make sure that if you are in Woodland, the Zion community, Fawn Meadows, eastern parts of Mdot County, this thing is right over Chapman Road, and it's moving to the northeast. So areas between Tupelo, downtown, and west, out towards the Fawn Meadows community of eastern Mdot, down towards Woodland, these locations really are going to bear the brunt over the next couple of minutes here. So that is why we are on the air. So this is an ongoing severe weather situation, tornado warning situation. And let's go over to Stephanie Poole with a quick news update. We'll follow this. I need a water break real quick. Stephanie, take it away.
Yep, Keith, go ahead and get that water break. We have reached out to Mdot County with that confirmed tornado on the ground. We've reached out to the Sheriff's Department, also the EMA Department. We have not received any comment at this time, but we do believe that it's probably because they are trying to get all those damage assessments and debris, just kind of going on to see what is happening over there. We are also making contact with the Tupelo EMA just to get any of those updates that they may have for that area. Now, coming up on WCBI News at 10, we will have live coverage from Calhoun City. We will have one reporter over there just to give us those first images of all the debris and damage that is just kind of all over the area. Down power lines, down trees is something that we want to make sure all the viewers can see so that they stay safe, and if they're at home or out on the roads, they can get to a safe zone if they do have that opportunity. And once again, please continue to follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter for those live weather updates, Keith is live on Facebook at this time, so if you do have that connection, go ahead and plug in at this time. Keith, we're turning things right back over to you. I have both my phones right here, so once they go off, we will be back once here again to give you those live updates.
All right, Stephanie, I do appreciate it. Yes, I do have our Facebook live stream going right now, and it's not the professional TV one that we usually put up on there, but it is a live stream of what we're doing here on our weather computer, and you can probably hear me. So as I suggest, the best coverage is always going to be on our TV side. We're looking live from downtown Tupelo with our Fair Park camera. We are looking down to the southwest. There was a little bit of lightning that was perking on up. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado still being detected near Troy in southeastern Pontotoc County, moving northeast at 40. So this thing is spinning on up. Let's go back to radar real quick, and let's show you exactly what we're talking about. There it is. Troy, Woodland, these locations right there. You see the green and the red. That could be that large destructive tornado moving to the northeast at 40. So if you're just tuning on in, if you are watching from the Tupelo area, if you are visiting for some reason in North Mississippi and watching our coverage, and if you don't know exactly where you live, well, we have one of our major population centers is Tupelo. The storm is to the southwest of there by a good, from downtown Tupelo, it is about 12, 13 miles to the southwest, and this thing is tracking northeast, and we want everybody in Lee County, eastern Pontotoc County to be in your tornado safe zone. That does include Zion, Fawn Meadows area, Palmetto community southwest of Tupelo, downtown Tupelo, and points west out towards Chesterville, maybe Belden. And if this thing continues tracking northeast, eventually Beach Springs, Saltillo, up towards the mall. So this thing is lifting to the northeast. Now it's about 35, 40 miles per hour. So let's do this quick storm track again and get some times here. So Tupelo by 9:54, Saltillo by 10:04, and let's just pop on a couple of other cities here that will be a little bit sooner than that, and that would take it near the Country Oak Estates area before that point. So long story short, this thing is going to be in and around the Tupelo area by 10 o'clock. It is rotating. We have a classic hook echo right here. There it is, moving just to the east of Woodland right now. This is a dangerous, life-threatening situation. It is a confirmed tornado. We have had a history of confirmed tornadoes with this storm complex. They've been going up and down. They're not staying on the ground constantly. The storm's been cycling from time to time, but right now we have a pretty good look. The storm is a little bit closer to radar now. We are scanning at 2,000 feet. When the storm was way out in Montgomery County, we were scanning at 6,000 feet. So we've come down a couple thousand feet. We can sample even lower in the atmosphere, and that is why we have a better handle on this right now. So I'm going to circle the area of concern. It is near Woodland. It is going to be staying just to, it's going to be passing very close to the Zion community, Praise Acres, Country Oak Estates. If you know where these areas are along Highway 278, please. There's our updated scan. That's a little appendage. That is the hook. That is the tornado, if it's going to be, if it's still there. There's it. That's it. That's where it is. And it is moving closer and closer to the areas in around Tupelo. So that's where we have the storm. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to our other computer real quick. Bear with me. And we'll pop our Tupelo Skycam up in our other source here. So we can monitor this. Maybe we can dual box this at some point, and we'll have our Skycam, our Tupelo cam, and our radar imagery, and we'll follow this as it comes on in. So that's the storm as it gets closer and closer. And let's see what the DOT cams are showing at this point up here in and around the Tupelo area. So I've circled where the tornado could still be on the ground near the Woodland area right now. You can see our Alpha Insurance Camera Network, our Skycam there in downtown Tupelo. We are looking off to the southwest, And I'm going to try and bring up some of our DOT cams here real quick from our Viper source. And let me tighten this up just a little bit. So that right there near Woodland, Praise Acres, near Kings Highway, the Zion community, Eastern Pontotoc, eventually very soon into Western Lee County. That is where we are really going to be concerned about. All right. So unfortunately, wherever this storm is, it is coming, there's a camera void where this thing will be coming in. So I'm going to try and position some of our sources and see if we can't get anything else. Okay. So the suspense that we're waiting to see what is going on here. So here's the situation. We have a storm that is rotating. Let's go back in and check out our velocity. It is right over just near Kings Highway, southeast of the Zion community. And Eastern Pontotoc County is about ready to cross over the county line into Lee County. And that is the county line in the big box, that line that I'm going to draw right here. This is the Pontotoc-Lee County line right there. And this is Highway 278. 278. So it is moving in this general area. We've triple boxed this now. We've got our Alpha Insurance camera in downtown at Fair Park looking southwest. That is the I-22 US 45 junction up by Barnes Crossing Mall. We're looking due west. There's a little bit of lightning in this. So the storm is moving up towards that general area. As I mentioned just a few minutes ago, we're in a bit of a camera void there. So it's going to be getting very close to those two camera sites we have. So we will continue to watch this as it comes on in real time. Again, this is severe weather coverage, 9:41 on this Sunday evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. We are watching an area of rotation southeast of Zion, the Zion community. It is now about ready to cross the Lee-Pontotoc County line, and this is being treated as a confirmed tornado. We had that debris signature pop up earlier, and now we're getting some noise mixed on in with this, but we're still looking at some very good rotation, and we've got this hook echo, which is this rear flank downdraft that's coming in like this. The inflow, the updraft is like this, is rotating in this. And as I pop on our colors, you can see the colors there, the greens and the reds, and our wind shear rate, that's where it's maximized right there. So Praise Acres, you need to be in your basement, your storm shelter right now. Country Oak Estates, Palmetto Estates, these neighborhoods, communities southwest of Tupelo proper, Cliff Gookin Boulevard, southwest, the southwest beltway there on the southwestern side of Tupelo. This thing is coming in that general direction. It's just to the west of the Trace. So the Natchez Trace Parkway, always a great geographic landmark. And for that, let me draw that on this. Here's the Trace. So it's basically going right up and just west of the Natchez Trace Parkway right now. So that's where we are really concerned right now here in Lee County. This is going to be a very close call with the city of Tupelo, at least downtown Tupelo. We are continuing to watch our western and southwestern horizon for flashes at some point. If this thing is still going to be producing a tornado as it comes on into the city limits of Tupelo, we are going to have some extra eyes on it as far as these DOT cameras. There's really not a lot of lightning in it tonight. But again, if you're just tuning on in, we have a rapidly developing situation in and around the city of Tupelo. We have a confirmed tornado that has been moving through Pontotoc County. Is it still on the ground? We have to assume it is. The storm is rotating right on the Pontotoc-Lee County line. That line that I've drawn in yellow in the big box, that is the Natchez Trace Parkway. And downtown Tupelo, Fair Park is right here. I've circled that. So this is not too far away from downtown Tupelo. It's less than 10 miles. It is moving through Praise Acres right now, about 6 miles southwest of downtown Tupelo at this time. So you need to be in your tornado zone, safe zone, basements, storm shelters, interior rooms away from windows. A dangerous situation developing here in the communities around Tupelo, especially the southwestern side of the city, the neighborhoods, the communities here, just crossing over the state line, or the county line rather. And from a velocity standpoint, it's still there. From our wind shear rate, it is still there. And one other side note with the wind shear rate product, sometimes it looks like a little S. That's how it looks now. And when it looks like that, we usually assume there's some pretty good inflow and some rotating wind in that. So that kind of looks like a little bit of an S there in the red. And that is some stronger rotation. And that is why we are really more concerned tonight now, as this thing has really tightened up just a little bit over the last couple of scans. So as you can see, here's the city of Tupelo, and that's the proximity. It's basically on the west side of town now, moving through Praise Acres and near the Country Oak Estates. Watch out for the Bissell community. Haven Acres is going to be making a very close call with the Tupelo Regional Airport near Cliff Gookin Boulevard, west of Tupelo, downtown. So it's basically in Tupelo, the Tupelo Metro now. And it's going to be, here's the airport, right here. There's the airport, here's the mall, and it's moving in that general direction, folks. So please, there's our update. It is looking like a very dangerous situation here. This is a life-threatening situation. This is not what we wanted to see. And unfortunately, you know, when we went into this day today, this is the last thing I expected to be doing at 9:45 at night, dealing with a confirmed tornado in the city or around Tupelo. And after having hours of tornado coverage, we really weren't expecting that today as far as the volume of warnings. And now we have this one storm, the one problem child left, and it is right over Palmetto Road, the Praise Acres area, Cliff Gookin Boulevard right here. So southwest of the city limits, that's where it's located, and it is lifting to the northeast. So tornado warning continues. It is moving to the northeast again at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. And we will continue to watch this as it evolves here over the next couple of minutes. So to recalibrate, to reiterate what you're looking at, we've got our radar, the wind velocity, the area of rotation, the possible tornado is going to be in this general area. And that is on the southwest side of Tupelo. New update from the Weather Service. Tornado warning continues, as we mentioned, moving to the northeast at about 40. Tornado now moving into Tupelo city limits. Our sky cams from Fair Park, we are looking to the southwest, and we are looking due west from I-22 and US 45 up there by Barnes Crossing Mall. And I'm going to go into our sky cam here, move this a little bit more to the right, zoom in just a bit. So we'll be looking for power flashes and other things like that. If this thing is still causing damage, and if we see it from our Tupelo camera, some sparks fly in the horizon, or the Mdot camera there, we're going to bring that up full. But right now, we just have to assume that this thing is still doing something as it moves on into the Cliff Gookin Boulevard area out by the airport very, very soon. There's our update. It's just been passing over Highway 278, the new 4-lane highway that was constructed not too long ago that bypasses downtown. So this thing is moving right up along the trace. It's going to be affecting the western side of the city limits, it would appear, if this thing is still producing something. So again, we are assuming this is still a confirmed dangerous tornado. From our debris detector, we're still seeing perhaps some of that being resampled there. We've circled where we have that rotation. We have this S-shaped thing showing up on our shear rate product, and that is where we have winds circling, swirling around the updraft. So everything is coming together like this is an actual real-life, on-the-ground tornado situation here, folks. So this is life-threatening coverage here of a tornado that is moving into the Tupelo city limits. I'm Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson here at WCBI TV. It is 9:50 on this Sunday evening. We are watching and looking with our Alpha Insurance Camera Network. We've got our camera at Fair Park looking to the southwest. That's the top left box. The bottom left box, that is the Mdot camera at I-22 US 45, and we're watching the storm swirl on radar through southwestern parts of Tupelo. If this thing is still producing a tornado, it is now just minutes away from downtown, the airport, and the mall, and these areas out towards Locust Lane, Bissell Road, Cliff Gookin Boulevard, West Main, you know, out towards the Trace, these locations out here. So there could be some serious damage here if this thing is still producing a tornado, because there's a lot of development in this part of our area. You know, keep in mind, North Mississippi is relatively rural. It's pretty spread out, but Tupelo is our biggest population zone we have in Northeast Mississippi, and this thing is moving right into a major part of where we have a lot of residential areas, some industrial areas out by the airport, and it is going to be eventually slipping north of I-22 and could be affecting the commercial corridor up there by Barnes Crossing Mall and all that development up there on North Gloucester Street. So this is a big situation for North Mississippi. This is the only storm that we are watching tonight here in our area, and it is this one storm. The only warning we have, I'm going to back this out real quick. We still have some other activity down near Starkville and Ackerman that is not too crazy at this time, so we're going to come back and concentrate on the Tupelo activity until further notice. And there it is. So I don't see anything. Let's bring up our Alpha Insurance camera in the big box. Let's just bring that up full. Our Lynx One source, if you could. And this is a live view from downtown. We're looking in the general direction of where there could be that tornado. And I think that was just a hint of a lightning flash. I don't see, from this perspective, any power flashes. And this is where it would be coming on in. So, okay, let's go back to our triple box here and show you again where this thing is at. This is at Cliff Gookin. It's at West Main. It's near the airport, if it's going to be producing something. So again, we're just waiting with suspense. This is the suspense is killing all of us here, because we want to know exactly what is going on. And it's at night. If this was during the day, we'd have a much better handle on things. You can see some of this lightning flashing from our camera, the Mdot camera there, I-22 at US 45. So we're looking west. So if this thing is swirling up towards the mall, you can see on the right side of that, all those bright lights. That is the shopping areas, the Best Buy, the Ashley Furniture, the movie theater complex there just north of I-22. And the other box there, we keep watching to see any power flashes there. And I am not seeing anything right now. So if something is slipping through here, it's going to be slipping through unknown, at least from my Skycam view. So again, tornado warning continues here and on this Sunday, and I am going to continue to monitor things here. Oh boy, okay, let's see what that is. Latest statement from the Weather Service, catastrophic possible damage with this storm. A large destructive tornado observed over Tupelo, moving northeast at 40. So we're still looking at something coming through Tupelo. And at this point, our camera is looking due west there from Fair Park. So if you are anywhere near downtown Tupelo, west towards the airport, you need to be in your basement, your storm shelter, your interior rooms. This could be a serious life-threatening situation. We are assuming it's still large and destructive as it comes on through. And I don't see any power flashes at this time from our Skycam in downtown. We are waiting to see. All right, so it is 9:55. This is severe weather coverage on WCBI TV. And if there is going to be some damage in Tupelo, it is going to be happening right now. And we still have power downtown Tupelo. The Pontotoc County, it looks like, has been dropped from the tornado warning. So this is really just a Tupelo situation right now. So heads up, we've been talking about this for the last hour or so, the storm coming closer and closer to Tupelo. Here we go. So now it's within vantage point to see if it's going to produce something here visibly. All right, so I just do not see anything with our Skycam here in downtown Tupelo, but it's got to be very close. If this were daylight, we would know exactly what's going on. But right now, we can't see anything. We're blinded by the fact that it's dark, and we're blinded by the fact that there's not really a lot of tremendous lighting with this. So it's not lighting up the sky like some of our other storms can do this time of year. So if you were expecting to see WCBI News at 10 o'clock, this is severe weather coverage. This warning is going to continue until 10:45 now, for the storm as it moves on through Tupelo. And at this point, if there's a tornado, it is going to be basically right at our camera site. I'm still not seeing any power flashes here. We still have power downtown. This thing's coming right up into this area. It is basically going to go right up. It is basically going right up. It's going to pass over West Main and Gloucester, and then move north into the northern part of the city of Tupelo. So right now, it is near the downtown area, West Main, Gloucester, where the railroad tracks are, somewhere in that area. There's also a lot of rain too, so when this thing blows on through our camera site, we're going to be blinded by that. So right now we are out ahead of it, and we'll just wait and see here, folks. So again, this is severe weather coverage on WCBI TV. It's 9:57. We are waiting to see how this evolves here. We still have power in downtown, and downtown Tupelo, that is, and there's a confirmed tornado somewhere in this, we think, still at this time, and something has occurred. We're still looking at some wind velocity. Again, this is not in real time. We're getting this product delayed just a little bit, but we're looking at some breezes beginning to pick up there in downtown. It's rotating. The storm complex is rotating somewhere here in and around. It's got to be here near West Main, Gloucester, downtown Tupelo, somewhere there in the core of the city. So if it's going to do anything, if it's not on the ground now, well, this is where it would be on the ground soon, or it has recently lifted from where it was on the ground. So somewhere here near Confederate Park, Harrisburg Heights, Green Acres, Terrace Park, Highland Circle, these areas, these neighborhoods around downtown Tupelo right now, please, this is where you need to just be riding it out in a safe zone. Tornado safe zone. And I'm moving our camera back and forth here. We still have power downtown. But this thing is moving at about 30, 40 miles per hour, so it's going to be somewhere soon if we're going to see it. Okay, so we saw a little bit of a flash there from lightning. That could have been something. Let's go ahead and bring up our Alpha Insurance camera, our Fair Park camera. So let's take this full. Yes, so if there's something moving through Tupelo, we're going to be able to see it right here. And again, we still have power. We still have, looks like we have some breezes here in downtown Tupelo. Okay. All right, so this thing, let me move our camera back over to the south just a little bit. Yeah, there are some flashes there. I don't know if it's lightning or if it's transformers or what. But now the wind is really, the storm is basically on top of downtown right now. So now we're about ready to get rain blocked by this. Okay, so that's our Alpha Insurance camera in downtown Tupelo at Fair Park. And let's go back and bring up that triple box real quick and just show you what we got going on. So there's the storm. If nothing else, it's very windy here in downtown Tupelo right now. And go ahead and take our radar full real quick, or the sky cam, that's fine. Okay. Now let's, okay, we can go ahead and bring up our triple box again. I think we lost the video feed of, there we go. So now let's bring up our Mdot traffic camera. So this is looking from US 45 south towards downtown, and you can see what looks like a low cloud base and some very heavy rain swirling on in here. So is that it, or is that just rain? But we are looking just to, now we lost it. Okay, so that was just south of, all right, let's bring up our radar here again. I think we were looking at the thing. Looks like some of the power outages, there are some power outages there at the hotel, the Hilton Garden Inn. All right, so there's the tornado warning. It is, well, I don't own the cameras. The Mdot owns the cameras. We don't own the cameras here. So we are reliant on getting some of those images out of the DOT, and unfortunately some of the cameras are down. Whether or not they're down via a problem or they just yank them down, but something is happening up there, and it has moved over downtown Tupelo, and it's now moving up to the northeastern side. So let's go back in, and maybe we can dual box this again as I try to effort some of these DOT cams. But the The storm is, the worst of it now is lifting to the northeast of Tupelo downtown, and it is probably in this, it is somewhere just to the northeast of downtown near the Forest Hills area. It's slipped over 45. It looks like that is another tornado debris signature. And that is just to the north of downtown. So it looks like the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown has lost some power, and parts of North Tupelo, north of Main Street, have lost power from the Hilton Garden Inn north. I mean, we still may be seeing some power flashes there. Let's bring that up full screen real quick. So this is our Alpha Insurance camera downtown Tupelo looking to the north. We've lost some power. And the tornado, if it's still there, it's moving up to the northeast. You can see some flashes there. That could be either some lightning strikes. We are detecting some lightning in this finally, so hard to tell exactly what, but we have lost power there at the Hilton Garden Inn. And we've lost some communication with some of these DOT cameras here. So unfortunately, we're blinded from view there, but let's go in and bring up our radar full screen here. And I want to get you your bearings. So the area of concern here is now northeast of Tupelo downtown, and it is going to be up towards the Forest Hills area, Lake Piomingo. And there it is right there. So that general area near the Forest Hills area, our tornado debris signature is still being detected right there. And it is now pulling away from downtown. It became very windy and very wet at our camera site very soon. So that thing could have just slipped right over there as we were watching just a few minutes ago. So this is tornado coverage on WCBI TV. I'm Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. I'm just voicing over this right now, but we just want to let you know that we've had this tornado warning, confirmed tornado, now in and around the northeastern side of Tupelo. And the signature on radar is still there near Forest Hills, near I-22 east. And boy, I tell you what, I really wish we had access to some of these DOT cams right now, because they're either down or we just don't have access to them. So right now, this thing is lifting to the northeast. If you're watching this here on WCBI TV, this thing is ramped on up. And go ahead and pop me up back on this too real quick, Becca, if you could. So here's the area of rotation near Forest Hills, near the Oak Cliff Villas. This is just north of the Elvis Birthplace Museum, etc. And this is lifting to the northeast. It's crossing I-22 right now. So this area of rotation, that is what has been passing over downtown Tupelo. It is now lifting to the northeast. So this is a confirmed tornado. Going back to our debris signature, we are still looking at that being detected right here, we think. And that is near County Road 885. There's Elvis Presley Drive, again, just north of the birthplace there along I-22. So some very significant weather has been moving on through. And we pop on our velocity, it's right here. And when we check out our shear rate, this thing looks like that S we were talking about. See how it looks like this S? Well, this is some very fast-moving wind. It's all rotating within this. And we'll pop back on our cylinder. And, you know, when all these things are plotting, folks, this just means that we have ground truth, we have radar proof. We just know there's been a significant storm moving through Tupelo, likely causing tornado damage here, folks losing power. And we've noticed some power outages. The Hilton Garden Inn, specifically from our camera point, is currently void of electricity, we do believe. And there's a area of rotation now moving just to the north of I-22 right now, we think. And this is, let me turn off some of that. It is moving to the northeast of the Forest Hills area out towards Lake Piamingo. And this is just to the east-southeast of Barnes Crossing Mall. So this has crossed the interstate now. It is now lifting to the north. And we're getting some reports of some possible tornadic activity in this general area at this time. So again, tornado warning continues until 10:45 for this storm. It is lifting to the north away from Tupelo. So downstream, we're looking at these areas out towards Chapelville, Eggville, Lake Piamingo, east of Beach Springs, southeast of Saltillo. This thing is lifting to the northeast. Let's bring this back up full screen. And before we do a storm track, I do want to take you to our camera in downtown Tupelo. We're looking to the northeast at the Hilton Garden Inn, and the power is out there. We see that. And let's go ahead and bring that up full screen if you can. And so power's out, it looks like on the north side of Main Street there. We still have power on the south side, but the hotel doesn't have power. We have power at our building there at Fair Park, but some folks without power in Tupelo. Okay, let's go back to our radar and bring this up. And this is a serious situation. It is lifting to the north at about 40 miles per hour. So I'm going to do a quick storm track on this here tonight. And this tornado warning goes all the way up to Tishomingo now. So basically, Marietta by 10:32, these go out way too far. I'm going to plot some other cities here for you just to get your near-term bearings here. So here's a little bit better handle on this. The Unity area of Lee County by 10:19. Eggville, 10:15, Ratliff, if it holds together, in northwestern Itawamba County, that goes, the storm track will be there by 10:21. And then the Marietta community of Prentice County by 10:32. So downstream, that's where this thing is headed. And we are getting reports from other folks now that a tornado was observed somewhere along Interstate 22, north of Veterans Memorial Park. Again, that is just north of the Elvis Presley Birthplace Museum, gathering spot right there. So it's a very well-traveled area. I was out that way a couple of weeks ago, but this thing is lifting northeast. The area of rotation is still very pronounced. So if you're up here east of Saltillo near Eggville and locations in northeastern parts of Lee County, very serious situation. Let's name out some of these roads right now. So basically, County Road 1325, 1389, locations southeast of the Trace, near Lake Piamingo right now, near Eggville, and along and south of Highway 363. These locations will be affected very, very soon by this rotating storm. It is near Lake Piamingo right now, and just got a report from one of our colleagues up in the Tupelo area a few minutes ago. This is about 10 o'clock, and this was near the airport on the west side of town, west side of Tupelo. Heavy rain, not much wind, no hail. That was as of 10:01. But the worst of the weather looks like it moved through downtown, lifting northeast of downtown Tupelo. Tornado warning continues until 10:45. And the storm is moving northeast at 30. And the storm contains this possibly large and destructive tornado with it. And we are still plotting the reflectivity, the velocity data, the rotation right here. This is along County Road 391 between the Auburn community and Lake Piamingo. And this is moving towards Eggville. Oddly, and of interest, you see this gray little cylinder pop up. That is a tornado debris signature, and that only plots when we have confirmed tornado debris. It doesn't plot often, but this is where we had that detected over the last couple of scans, and that is just to the north of the Elvis Presley birthplace where that tornado was reported. So that correlates well with this thing as it's been moving on through. And this storm, folks, this thing has had a history of rotation, of tornadoes going all the way back 5-6 hours ago out in the Delta. This whole complex started way out by Vicksburg, and we are still looking at this one storm tapping into some wind energy right now, moving on through, and this is the only game in town, and it is still producing a tremendous amount of rotation. We are sensing that right here near Road 1766, County Road 1389, County Road 1385. This is in eastern Lee County. The area of concern is right here. It's still with us right there. And that is east of the Johnson Heights area near Eggville. So if you're in these areas of northeastern Lee County, you really just need to be in your tornado safe zone. We've been talking about this. There's that tornado debris signature. We are still getting that being detected right there. That is co-located with the greatest amount of wind that could be rotating. So this doesn't guarantee a tornado, but it certainly looks like it is at this point tonight. Our swath over the last hour, this is where it's gone. This is where the storm has gone. And it really ramped up as it got near Holka, and it's been with us for the last hour as it continues marching to the northeast. So that is that track right here. So we're watching this one storm, and it's still doing its thing as we back things out. Yeah, it's raining in Starkville. There's some showers back towards Grenada. The tornado watch has been dropped. So it's 10 o'clock. We're past that. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. But we have this one storm that is holding on. And right now, it looks like this thing is probably going to march all the way up into Tennessee, the way it's looking, just because it's been so persistent for so long. And we're just going to have to ride this up till midnight probably and see what happens downstream here from where it is now. So the rotation, if you're just tuning on into WCBI News at 10 o'clock, I'm going to show you the 7-day forecast coming up in just a little bit during our coverage, if I can. I've got the updated discussion on our website, WCBI.com. So if you want a full breakdown, if you want to see the 7-day forecast, it's all there. We are looking at a bit of a break tomorrow. It's going to be a warm and humid day, mid-80s. Another chance for some strong to severe storms Tuesday around here. And that will come in with a cold front. And then the end of the work week, a little bit more stable, a little bit cooler. So that's all at WCBI.com if you want more details on that. But I will pop up the 7-day here on the TV side somewhat soon before the end of our scheduled newscast, which is supposed to end at 10:30. But tonight we are going to stay with the tornado coverage as long as we need to. So there's the area of rotation. And that's still with us there near County Road 389 and 325 near Unity and the Ratliff communities in the location right along the county line. So the Lee and Itawamba county line, that's where this thing is moving. It is just to the southeast of the Natchez Trace. I'm drawing the Natchez Trace right here in the that yellow line. So that's the trace. The area of rotation is near Eggville, approaching Unity, and this is going to be moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So we've had a couple of reports of some damage in and around the Tupelo area. So we're going to be able to sift out later tonight, and of course during the day tomorrow, once daylight returns, we can see exactly what was destroyed, what wasn't, who has power, who doesn't, and all that kind of stuff. Side note, if you lose power, call your electrical provider. Do not call your local television station. We don't know exactly who has what kind of outages. And within the city outages themselves, there's no easy way for me to see which streets or whatever have power, what streets don't. So just call your electric provider. If it's the city or if it's your association, just let them know that you don't. They probably already know if they have those smart sensors already installed across their networks. All right, so trees and power lines reported down in and around the Tupelo area. Going back to our Alpha Insurance Camera Network in downtown Tupelo, we still have Main Street lit up, but the hotel, the Hilton Garden Inn areas north of Main without power, other locations without power too. So we've got issues in and around Lee County, and this storm goes all the way back to Calhoun County. And I do believe Stephanie's getting ready to do another news update for us. And I think, do we have a reporter that's out in Calhoun County?
Yes, we do. We will have those first live images coming up on our later newscast, but we do have a damage report, and we are ready to give that.
Okay, go ahead, take it away.
So over in Calhoun County for Calhoun City, Sheriff Greg Poland says that trees and power lines are down. Now, at this moment, crews are working to clear out those roads and damage filled with debris. Some homes also do have damage, so those crews, EMA agencies and other agencies are working all that they can to make sure that people are safe and kind of get all that damage cleared out at a good manner. Now, one person was rescued, but there are no other injuries reported, and we do not believe that person was injured. They just kind of need to get to that safe spot. As for Tupelo, there has not been any damage reported, but we are still making those calls to the EMA, police, sheriff, fires department. I think that they are still out getting those damage assessments, so it may just be another 5-10 minutes before we have a more accurate view of what is really going on over in Tupelo as far as that debris. Now, as always, do not leave your home. Let the weather play out. Your safety does come first. You can also get those live weather updates on our Facebook page, on our Twitter. Keith is live on his Facebook right now, so that is something you can tune into. And like I said before, we do have those first images from Calhoun City of all the damage and debris. Our Stephen Pimpa will be with us tonight. So make sure you stay plugged in, make sure you stay connected, because we do want you to be weather aware and be safe. So Keith, I'm gonna turn it right back over to you one more time.
Okay.
We're gonna go make some more calls, so just stay with us and we'll be back
Sure
shortly.
thing. I do appreciate the information there, Stephanie. And just heads up, we are getting some reports of some damage around the neighborhood around the Elvis Presley Museum, between there and the Veterans Memorial Park, I-22, northeastern side of Tupelo. And of course, we've been monitoring some power outages too. So where is that thing now? If it's still producing a tornado, it's near the Unity community of eastern Lee County, right along County Road 2346, Highway 363, and County Road 1543. This is the area of rotation. We are still detecting it. It's maybe not as tight as what it was earlier, but we are still looking at some lowerings in our debris detector. It's not as pronounced as what it was earlier, but we still have the rotation there, and we go to our shear rate, and yes, we are still detecting that. If nothing else, there could be some very strong wind, even farther south, down towards Eggville, Interstate 22, east of the Auburn community. This is across far eastern Lee County. So let's just say that if you're watching in Itawamba County, in Kirkville, Ozark, Ratliff, Centerville, Mantachie, there could be some very strong wind just outside of any tornado threat. Very strong wind could come on in with this storm as it lifts into your area. But the rotation, the area of rotation that has been the concern for the last couple of hours continues to be this area near the Unity community, and that is going right over County Road 1970 and County Road 2346 at this time, or at least the last couple of minutes. So this is right up against the county line. This is moving towards Ratliff and Centerville, Ozark, Kirkville. This is lifting northeast. There's the area of rotation, classic, green towards the radar, red away. It's swirling around right there. And we just are detecting that right here. And maybe, just maybe, as this lines out a little bit, farther south, that could actually be more in the way of some strong, gusty, straight line wind that could go all the way down towards Highway 371 and areas right along I-22 west of the Shiloh area, west of Mantachie. So that is the current radar situation. There's a fair amount of heavy rain in this. There has been some clouded ground lightning being detected with this. as it rumbles on through. So this is not your monster supercell storm. This is a storm that is rotating violently, and it is lifting to the northeast. And never in my wildest imagination would I have imagined that we would have had the volume of tornado warnings and the signatures on radar and the likely confirmed tornadoes that we will get out of this event going into today. We knew it was possible, and anything's possible when we have severe weather. We were in a slight risk of severe weather. Sometimes we get nothing with these kind of outlooks, and this is really one of those low-end type events going into it. That's what we, as a forecast team, were thinking. So Mother Nature surprising us all here tonight with all of the persistent warnings and the rotation, the consistency with some of these storms as they've been lifting to the northeast. So the tornado warning continues for these areas. Let's come back on in a little bit tighter. This thing is crossing out of Lee County now into Itawamba County and southern Prentiss County. Here is the warning. It's near Ratliff, Centerville, Eggville. That warning is going to continue until 10:45. As it lifts back to the northeast at about 30 to 40 miles per hour, we will probably get at least one more tornado warning if this thing does hold together before it slips out of the WCBI viewing area. It is moving northeast again, 30 to 40 miles per hour, and the area of rotation is near the Ratliff area, near Centerville, north of Eggville. So this area of rotation right here, Unity, Ratliff, that is what we think is the best chance. If this thing is still going to produce, that's where it would likely be coming out of, that area of rotation right there. So, and our debris detector, you see that little light orangish dot right there. I mean, that's kind of right mixed in with where this thing is. So this thing could be in the process of doing something again. I'm not saying that this thing has been on the ground for 2 hours, but it's probably, it's been rotating, but this thing is likely, if it's producing tornadoes, doing it, and then one will lift, another one will come down, it will cycle, the storm will cycle a little bit, and we'll get a series of tornadoes with just one rotating storm. That's usually how these work. Sometimes in those major tornado outbreaks, they will stay on the ground for hundreds of miles. This is probably not that case. Now, the tornado warning is still in effect for the flashing area. This is now outside of Tupelo. Tupelo, you are clear from the storm. You should be good to go for the rest of this evening, and you can go out and survey your damage if you've had it. But right now, the storm is now lifting to your north. Farther southwest, just some garden variety showers here along 82 from Columbus back west towards Starkville and also out towards Water Valley and north of Grenada. Nothing too sinister in that. It is just some garden variety rain. So we are going to continue to concentrate on what still could be a developing tornado or ongoing tornado situation near Ratliff in northwestern Itawamba County, right along Highway 363. There's our tornado debris detector. And I think this thing is producing another one here, folks. So I think that right there, I think that is another tornado debris signature. Maybe it's just pulsing back up, one of several we've had. Maybe it's just been all consistent as it's been moving through Lee County, but that is co-located where we have the greatest amount of rotation, and that is exactly where we are getting this debris detector lowering. So whenever it's not pink, when it goes yellow or blue or green, usually that means something is happening, something is in the air that should not be, and that is what we think is happening here right now. So we'll come back to that and see, but that is near Ratliff, right along Highway 363 in far northwestern Itawamba County. It is 10:28, and we are continuing to monitor severe weather here across North Mississippi. All right, real quick, I promise you a 7-day forecast. Here we go. Absorb it while you can. Chance for a few spotty showers or storms tomorrow. Most of us will not see it. Pretty good chance for some rain and storms Tuesday. Some of that could be severe. Cooler, less humid, I think Wednesday through Friday. And then another warm up and more storms possible by next weekend. So a bit unsettled through Tuesday night, quiet, and then maybe some more active weather by the end of next weekend. Again, full forecast details at WCBI.com/weather. All right, we still have this what appears to be a tornado debris signature right along Bunch Lake Road east of Ratliff in northwestern Itawamba County. That is co-located with a lot of rain, where we show you all of this green, yellow, red. This is just rainfall, heavy rainfall. Probably not a lot of hail in this, don't suspect it, just tremendous amounts of rain. And when we go in there and inspect the velocity, that's what we show here. So where the greens and the reds get close together, we've got wind flowing towards the radar site in Monroe County. We've got red going away. And right here, just east of Ratliff, that's where the rotation is. And that is co-located exactly where we have the greatest amount of fast-moving wind, some of which could be rotating. So we suspect that could still be an ongoing tornado situation. Now, south of there, of note, near Centerville, Manatee, along Highway 371, along 363 southeast of Centerville, that could be some strong straight-line wind. So that's probably not tornado wind. That is strong damaging wind that could be causing damage. The actual tornado, if it is still ongoing, is going to be back to the north, somewhere near Ratliff and approaching Ozark in northwestern parts of Itawamba County. But this whole structure could be producing a fair amount of wind, 40, 50, 60 mile per hour wind, and some very heavy rainfall and some occasional lightning. So that is the big picture here. It's 10:30, and let me just recap our situation here tonight. I am WCBI TV Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. We were hoping to get you CBS primetime programming tonight, and of course WCBI News at 9 and 10. That has not happened. We've had a rash of tornado warnings, mainly because of this storm complex right here. And the storm complex continues to lift to the northeast. This warning goes until 10:45. It includes northwestern Itawamba. For you in Lee County, your threat is done. The storm is moving east of the county line, so I think you're good to go. But this warning does include northwestern Itawamba, southeastern Prentiss. This is going to stay southeast of Boonville. It does include parts of Tishomingo County, from Tishomingo south to Belmont, back to the west. And this is another one of these mini tornado hot spots up in this part of our viewing area: southern Tishomingo, southeastern Prentiss, northern parts of Itawamba. So this kind of goes right on in with some recent trends as far as where tornadoes tend to go, one of which is up here. The other one is down Winston, Noxubee, and Pickens County in Alabama, our southern tier. So we have this big, massive storms moving across our area right now. And let's go back and check out our velocity once again. So zooming on in a little bit tighter, where we have the green, the red together. This is near Ozark, right along Highway 371. That is swirling wind. And as we pop back on our low-level cone, we are still getting that. So the fact that we are still getting the low-level signature couplet right there tells me that we're still dealing with a storm of interest right there near Ozark in northwestern Itawamba. So this is northwest of Fulton. And this is moving to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So again, thanks for staying with us here tonight. We are continuing to track these storms as they lift across northeastern Mississippi tonight, and we will do so until this tornado threat is done. The area of rotation is right up in here, south of Marietta. This still is about 25, 30 miles from getting out of the WCBI viewing area, and assuming it's moving about 30, 40. So we've got about another hour of potential coverage here with this one storm cell, and we are getting reports of some damage in and around the Tupelo area. We'll plot some of these for you here real quick, and let's just check these out. Trees and power lines down in central Tupelo area, and also more trees and road signs down with some estimated winds up to about 60 miles per hour. Extensive residential damage around the Elvis Presley Museum. We mentioned that earlier as that storm drifted right over downtown and shifted into the northeastern side of Tupelo. So a couple of storm reports, just wanted to pop those on, in addition to what we had down in Calhoun County earlier. So that has been the near-term tornado threats here, or reports, with the storm as it's been threatening these areas, now between Kirkville, Ozark, Mantachie. So that's where the storm is. The tornado warning continues. It's moving northeast. The storm is moving northeast at 30 miles per hour, and it is going to remain in this area as it lifts to the northeast. It is near Kirkville. Let's go in and inspect that velocity data again. So somewhere Kirkville, Ozark, these areas right up here along Highway 371, Houston Palestine Road, and eventually, I think that's Ramey Road right there, east of Kirkville. So locations up here, northwestern Itawamba, yes, you are under the gun for a tornado warning, and this is going to continue for a while. We may get another warning reissued for this area. Again, this warning goes until 10:45. We're probably going to get another tornado warning here until 11:45, I would guess, if we get a new one issued as this one expires. So just looking at some traffic speeds in and around the Tupelo area. Go ahead and bring up our Viper source here real quick. I just want to show you this. So this is from Mdot, and we're plotting some road speeds here. So things are a little bit slow in and around the Tupelo area, McCullough Boulevard, and then the junction of 45 and McCullough. So there could be some issues there with maybe some debris on roads or some issues that we just assume are there, but just don't know exactly what they are. And, you know, I'm trying some of these cameras here, folks, and some of these aren't working at this time, but we do have power outage issues in and around parts of Tupelo. I guess we can bring this up here real quick. So this is McCullough Boulevard there in North Gloucester. So this is looking south, I do believe. And you can see we do have some power up there in some locations. But as we switch over to our Alpha Insurance camera on our Lynx One source, we don't have power there. This is looking east-northeast out towards the Elvis Presley birthplace. To the left is the darkened Hilton Garden Inn, where we don't have power, it looks like. But on Main Street and south, we do. So scattered power outages. All right, that's around Tupelo right now. Let's track the storms as we need to continue dealing with the activity that is moving on through. So going back to our radar source right now, we do have ongoing rain, wind, and some embedded lightning. As we go back over to our Lynx 2 source, you'll be able to see near Sandy Spring and east of Kirkville and east of Ozark, locations up here in northwestern Itawamba County. These areas really are under the gun. And ironically, just as we're watching, that video there, it looks like power is being booted back up there at the Hilton Garden Inn. You can see some of those lights coming back on. So tornado warning continues for areas in northern Itawamba County. Let's go back over to our radar. There we go. Okay, so tornado warning continues. It looks like we have that new tornado warning that we were expecting. This goes until 11:15. It's basically replacing the warning that was already in effect. So this new warning goes until 11:15. Let's hope that this is the last tornado warning of the night. But it is moving, the storm is still moving to the northeast about 30 to 35 miles per hour. And the area of rotation is somewhere there east of Kirkville. We'll come back in a little bit tighter and show you exactly what's been ongoing up in here. And where is our velocity? There it is. So it's not as pronounced as what it was earlier. It's kind of bowed out just a little bit. So maybe there's more of a straight line wind threat than rotation threat, tornado threat, imminent tornado threat. You can see our wind shear. It's lined up in this little line. So when that happens, that would give rise to more straight line wind event type damage, more so than tornado damage. Not guaranteed though. So we have this new tornado warning that has been issued until 11:15, probably just to hedge here, as we still have some squirreliness on radar near Ozark, Highway 371, near Sandy Springs, in northern parts of Itawamba County, just to the northeast of Manatee, although you're getting in on the action right now. So going back to our velocity here, if I had to say where there would be a likely tornado in the near term, it's kind of hard to tell. There's a couple of areas of concern. The northern part was a little bit more pronounced, this area, a few scans ago, but right now it's all fair game. So I'm just going to storm track this out and line it out and get you a better handle on this. So this is moving to the northeast at 30, and there we go. So the area of concern is going to be near Belmont by 11:06, maybe the Golden area by 11:16. And let me pop on a couple of extra cities here. So that's why the warning was issued until 11:15 for this thing to continue marching closer and closer to the state line, which, number one, is the end of the National Weather Service Memphis territory, and number two, the edge of the WCBI coverage area. So we'll carry this through until 11:15, but right now, Sandy Springs, you're under the gun, Hazeldale under the gun, eventually downstream, as we mentioned, Dennis 11:07, Golden 11:16, and then it could be slipping across the state line over towards the Pogo, Alabama area by 11:19. Again, the warning goes for Mississippi until 11:15. So it looks like that's timed out pretty good, but we will continue to track it. So that is the latest tornado warning, maybe the last of the night. You can see the list of cities on your screen. This is where, if nothing else, there's going to be some gusty wind moving on through. And you can see how that matches where we have some of that wind shear, the fast-moving wind, the green line, as it snakes up the Tenn-Tom Valley and lifts back to the northeast. So that is where we stand as of 10:41. Just getting some reports of potential roof collapsing at an apartment complex in central Tupelo. That coming in via law enforcement in the Tupelo area. So there could be some considerable damage we don't know yet that has happened somewhere in and around southwest Tupelo, downtown Tupelo, and up towards the northeastern side of town, out by the Veterans Park and the Elvis Presley Birthplace Museum, and points north. So we'll see and know more about that in the coming hours and days to see what exactly came out of it. But this is what we are on the air for. It's been an all-weather event for us tonight. It has been very busy across the entire region. This is the last storm complex, but from a radar perspective, it looks like it may be trying to just bow out and produce more straight line wind damage right now versus an actual tornado. But we are treating this as a confirmed tornado. It's had a history of damage, and from our debris standpoint, we've really lost that signature within this red, so we don't really see that lowering. There's some other noise in this. Don't be too concerned about that right now, but where we have the heaviest precipitation right here, when we go to our debris detector, we don't see any lowering colors of yellow or greens or blues in that. So right now it looks like any recent tornado damage or a tornado touchdown has not occurred. And that's certainly good news. And looking at this from a radar perspective, just from this vantage point, it has lost a little bit of its signature. And when we go in and check out the wind, there's still some areas of rotation within this, but it's not as clean cut as what it was. So near Sandy Spring, there still could be an item of concern right there. And again, we'll continue to watch this as we go throughout the next couple of minutes. So over the next 30, we have this. And then once we get past that, we should be in fairly good shape. Backing things out just a little bit, we have some lighter activity, some nuisance rain, nothing severe across the 82 corridor back to the northwest, out towards Yallabusha County and Water Valley and Coffeyville. There are no signs that there's anything sinister, squirrely in that. So right now, we are in reasonably good shape. But we go back in and we'll just continue talking about this storm, and it is tracking to the northeast. Okay, getting a report that there has been some damage east of Mantachie. And this was about 30 minutes ago. In Itawamba County of a possible tornado. This was, again, 30 minutes ago. In and around the intersection of County Road 1435 and 1766. Some trees are down, some debris on the road. So again, we're getting some various reports across our area tonight of storm damage, tree damage, what have you. And this thing produced some damage down in Calhoun City, Calhoun County at 8:30 tonight. So that was one of the first reports we had in our area. And look, these go all the way back down. The storm complex basically got going down north of Vicksburg, moved all the way through Yazoo City, and when it was moving through there, produced what we think was a large destructive tornado. The same general storm complex has been lifting northeast, and we've had our share of tornadoes and reports and touchdowns here. And now the storm is still swirling here in the vicinity of Sandy Springs in northern Itawamba County as it continues to track to the northeast. So we've got Stephanie Poole back in studio. I think we're going to have another news update at the second I decide to wrap up for a quick second and toss over to you. Stephanie, give me a break, and what do you got to chime in with?
Well, Keith, we are currently still assessing some damage over in Calhoun City, but at this time, we do have our Stephen Pimpo live with us, and he's going to give us a live update, just a little bit on the coverage and the damage. So, Stephen, are you there? Do you have any damage? Okay. They are telling me that he does not have a connection, so I'm going to give you the update to which that he has told me. So as of right now, EMA Director Randy Skinner of Calhoun County has been told that Calhoun City is in a state of emergency. The entire city is on lockdown at this time. There is massive damage, gas leaks, trees through the roofs of some homes. So EMA, I believe that police, Sheriff's Department, and other agencies are just trying to help and assist those families at this time. Now, also, as for Tupelo, we do have that there is some damage kind of over by the Elvis birthplace. I do believe we do have another reporter on the way for that, and we are still making those calls to get that damage assessments in. We also do have another report that we are hearing that an apartment roof has collapsed in on a home in Tupelo. So we're still having several calls come in. We're having several tips and other information coming at this time. But Keith, as for right now, like we're going to tell the viewers, just stay connected. We're getting so much new information as it comes in, and we're just trying to make sure that all the viewers at home can make sure that they stay safe. Once again, stay connected, send pics, videos, and other reports safely. Once again, safely, don't go out if there is inclement weather in your area, and don't put yourself in harm's way. Send it to our Facebook page, send it to our Twitter page, send it to Keith so he can upload those pictures and videos. And Keith, I'm going to toss it right back to you again. When we come back, we'll see if we can get Stephen back on the line. And that is all we have for now for the newsroom.
I do appreciate it, Stephanie. Yes, it's a bit dicey to get some reports back from some of our areas out towards Calhoun City, even on a good day, just dealing with the cell phone network and that kind of thing. So we are going to effort that. And of course, follow us on the social media side right there. You may have heard our simulcast on various radio stations across North Mississippi. I'm going to go back and pop those up real quick just to reiterate that. During some of these severe weather events, you may hear us on 94.9, 106.1, 99.9, 103.1, 1230 AM, 107.1 FM, or 107.5 FM. So a couple of different stations to stay connected with us if you're in a storm shelter, a basement, away from a television, if you lose power, or just to have, if you're going away from a television source, and if you don't have Wi-Fi or anything like that. Of course, we're live streaming on Facebook, social media, and of course our website at WCBI.com. So going back to our radar, the rotation is lackluster right now. Great news. The tornado warning continues until 11:15. This is now moving away from Manatee. It's moving away from Tupelo. It's moving towards those of you in Neal, Dennis, Belmont, Golden, southern Tishomingo County, near Sandy Springs. So Ryan, Salem Road, County Road 864 in southern Tishomingo, Burntfield Road there, northwest of Fairview, near Sandy Springs. This is where we have the greatest amount of potential redevelopment if we're going to get it. So it is near County Road 864 in southern Tishomingo. It's just north of Highway 25, moving over Ryan Salem Road east of Sandy Springs. That's the area of rotation. You can see that green and red. That is where we have the greatest amount of potential tornadic development. If we're going to get it, that's most likely where it's going to be. And there could be some other gusty wind that stretches back down to the southwest near Fairview, west of there, and also near the Tenn-Tom Waterway, southeast of the Ozark community. So the strongest storm is up here in and around Sandy Springs in northern Itawamba County, and it is lifting to the northeast at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and put on another one of these tracks for you, and you'll get a handle on exactly where this is going yet again if you've missed it. We keep doing this from time to time, and let me pop that back up real quick. So the area of concern is really most likely this right here, and this is lifting northeast about 30 or 25 to 30 miles per hour. So it's going to be in the Belmont area within the next 10, 15, 20 minutes, Golden 2, and then it's going to slip across the state line, slip out of the WCBI coverage area, and in theory, we should be done with this very bizarre but very busy severe weather event that has been unfolding across the region tonight. So this storm complex started hours ago near the Mississippi River. It's still with us as it tracks northeast. There's the warning. And going back to check out, let me see what the National Weather Service in Huntsville is thinking at this time, but the storm is obviously being monitored, and it has weakened a little bit. So we'll follow this as it gets to the state line and make sure this slips out of our area or weakens and is no longer a problem for the WCBI viewing area before we wrap things up for tonight here on our severe weather coverage. And somebody back in the control room or somebody here in the studio, maybe give me clarification if what we're going to do after our coverage ends at some point. So are we going to do our newscast or are we going to dump out? Just let me know and we'll plan accordingly. The greatest amount of wind energy, wind shear, is actually pulling away from our area right now. So we would suspect the environment of greatest wind potential has been gradually lifting to the northeast, and it's going to pull us out, we think, as we go throughout the near term, the next hour or so. So Right now, we do have a fair amount of spin in the atmosphere. We just had this one rotating shower that's managed to tap into it. I suspect we won't have too much more after this with the greater potential lifting out of our area. But, you know, Mother Nature is a mad scientist. We have this a volume of storms that have been moving through today, and we still have to deal with this last one as it lifts out of here. So, okay, so that is another look at the situation here. And again, tornado warning continues for northern Itawamba and southern Tishomingo. It looks like this is pulling away from Prentiss County. So I know those of you in Prentiss, you're still technically warned, not too concerned at this time. For you in Prentiss, it's moving into the Tishomingo County area, and really, it's basically right along Highway 25, the greatest amount of wind or tornado potential between New Bethel in southern Tishomingo and Highway 25. This thing is right over County Road 864, Highway 25, and areas south of Belmont. So this thing right here, that is still the rotating part of the storm. And that is why we are still following it right here. We're not looking at any debris being detected right now because the activity has weakened a little bit. But our wind shear rate is still, at the very least, picking up on some fast-moving wind and or possible rotation there. So again, from New Bethel down to Highway 25, pretty rural territory. You can see on your map all of those trees. It's very forested up here. We've got hills. They do a lot of foresting and what have you, forestry. So it's pretty wooded up here, but it is looking like this rotation is pulsing down just a little bit. But having said that, this storm has cycled, redeveloped multiple times over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. So we will continue following this to make sure it gets out of our area. But right now, things have pulsed down a little bit as far as the rotation is concerned, relative, I say relative to where we were just a few minutes ago. So we still have it, a recent lightning strike too. So whenever we see that, it just means there's still some energy to keep our eyes on this. This is right along Highway 25, near and just north of I think it runs into Mayhall Road there, and it is south of Belmont and Golden. And this is right along the Tishomingo and Itawamba County line. So this is lifting to the northeast. Heads up for you in Belmont, Golden, New Bethel. We've had several instances of tornadoes move through this general area over the last couple of years. You know it up here in Belmont, Golden, southern Tishomingo. So you should be used to a tornado warning, and you should probably know what to do. The rotation is not as pronounced as what it was. We're not getting that classic tornado debris signature. I think some of this is some noise. Let me back this up just a little bit. Yeah. So that continues to be a little bit of an artifact there. So I'm not looking at an actual tornado debris signature there, but there's still some rotation with this near Belmont. So we still need to treat this like it was an actual warning or an actual confirmed tornado situation, because this storm has had a history. Let's just assume that's the case until proven otherwise. But from a radar perspective, it looks like it is a little bit less than spectacular. So looking at some other information here, yes, this is the only storm we have in our area at this time. The only warning we have, this is about ready to slip over Highway 25. This is 5 miles away from getting out of North Mississippi. So this thing's going to wrap on up after 11 o'clock, and we should be in fairly good shape. So here's what we're going to do here. Let's just recalibrate the situation. We are coming up at the top of the hour, so it is 10:58. Great to see you tonight, friends. We wanted to get you that CBS programming, our newscast. Unfortunately, we've had weather coverage and not a lot of action farther south. This is the only game in town that we've been following. There is some other activity back to the northwest. We'll put this on loop, and you can see this is all lifting to the northeast. And right now, this is the last storm that we're drastically concerned about. So tornado warning continues for these areas in and around southern Tishomingo and northern Itawamba. This warning goes until 11:15. So just a couple more minutes. And just to reiterate where this rotation is, it is near Belmont, it is near Golden, it is near Highway 25 right here, and there's Red Bay Road right there. So in and around Belmont and Golden, these areas passing right over County Road 864, that is where we have the greatest amount of tornado potential. So if we're going to get it, we're going to get it again, I should say, this is where it's going to be, somewhere near Belmont and Golden, and this is quickly lifting to the northeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So if you live in these areas, just batten down the hatches for the next couple of minutes, let this thing move on through. We assume the worst with these kind of situations, especially with this one. This has been a problem for hours now, 6+ hours, stretching all the way back across the state down to the southern delta, Vicksburg, northeast Louisiana, Yazoo City. This has been the same remnant circulation storm complex producing tornado warning and occasional tornadoes all the way across the state, and it's still with us. And it's about ready to slip across the state line and get out of our area. But for you in Belmont and New Bethel, Golden, you need to be in your tornado safe zone right now just to hedge the bet. And we'll just see exactly how this thing rolls over the next couple of minutes. But realistically, this thing is about ready to slip out of our area, but there's still cause for concern, and it is this thing right there near Belmont and Golden, and is lifting to the northeast at about 25 to 30. We'll plot this about 30, and that is going to take it into northwest Alabama, near the Pogo community by 11:14, Pleasant Site, Alabama, 11:17, and then if it holds together, Newsom Springs, way over there, by 11:40. So that is way out of our coverage area. The tornado warning does continue, though. Doppler radar indicated no longer considered a confirmed tornado. The tornado warning does continue for southern Tishomingo County until 11:15. So we're going to stay with this to the bitter end tonight. We've been in this all evening long, and why not just hold out for another 15 minutes until this warning expires? We will be here, we will do that, and we will then recalibrate and go back and assess things. So going back to look at how this has evolved over the last hour, if you've been with us on WCBI TV, also on our live stream, WCBI.com/live, and our Facebook Lives, what have you. This storm produced a tornado around Calhoun City, or in Calhoun City, about 8:30. We're 2.5 hours after that, and this thing is still with us. It rotated all the way through Pontotoc County, Tupelo, Itawamba County. It really got going near Holka and ramped up in Pontotoc County, lifted through Tupelo, and then has been drifting, but weakening as far as rotation as we've gone throughout the last 10 minutes or so, as it has been getting a little bit closer to the Alabama-Mississippi border, but it's still near Belmont. We're not going to forget about you up here in southern Tishomingo and extreme far northern Itawamba, along and north of Highway 25, from, let's just say, Dennis down to Highway 25. We have this storm, lots of rainfall. There's still some rotation being detected right over Golden, Belmont, these areas, and we'll come in a little bit tighter. Red Bay Road, Line Road, Front Street, in and around the Golden City limits there, city proper, Belmont. The worst of the weather now looks like it's shifting southeast of Belmont. So it's really right over Golden right now. You can see it right on your screen. That's where we would expect to see the greater tornado potential, the strongest damaging wind potential right here near the Golden area. And this is very close to getting out of northeast Mississippi. But Belmont, Golden, these areas, you can see, I'm going to turn this off. And we'll go right down to the base map. This area up in here, there's a little bit more development and it's a little bit flatter, not as wooded. So there's a little bit more going on up in here. So anytime a storm comes on through with a little bit of rotation, we may get some extra, structural issues just because of the populations kind of clustered there in Belmont and Golden relative to some of our rural areas in some of these outlying areas. So this thing, as of 11:04, still prompting this tornado warning near Belmont and Golden, lifting to the northeast. And this is still with us, still producing some rain. Back down to the southwest, just some rain with no real concern at this point from Chickasaw County back west towards Oxford. Plotting some of our storm reports. We had some damage at 1435 and 1766 in Itawamba County, some debris and some damage on the roads making it impassable. And also tornado near the Ratliff area there, northeast of Manatachee, and that was at 10:35. So that was after the storm cleared Lee County. And I apologize for my voice if it sounds hoarse, if I'm struggling. Well, it's been a bit of a talking type afternoon, and my voice doesn't really want to perform anymore. But in Lee County, we've had numerous reports of some tornadoes. There's that roof torn off an apartment building around the Highway 151 area in and around downtown Tupelo. We were watching that with our Skycam network, the DOT cams, as the thing moved right on through. And going back down to Calhoun City, yes, we had trees, power lines. Stephanie was just out here reporting the latest on that with the curfew, the lockdown there, the damage coming in from the Calhoun City area. So we've had a whole host of issues with this one rotating storm complex this evening. It's been unfortunate that we've been dealing with this all evening long. And like I said a few minutes ago, this is the last thing I imagined in my life when I woke up today and knew there was a severe weather threat. We woke up with temperatures in the 50s. It was nice and cool and stable. There was no issues, but over time, a warm front moved on through. We ushered in a little bit more moisture. Winds today have been from the southeast at the surface, but aloft, they've been veering more towards the southwest. So things have been spinning. It's been a very interesting setup here. There's been an upper low back across Arkansas. But having said all that, we are looking at the end result of all this weather mischief, and this is a tornado warning now that continues until 11:15, 8 more minutes for southern Tishomingo County, Belmont, and Golden. These areas up here, this is where we have the greatest amount of rotation, now shifting east of Golden. So look, there's a big mass of wet weather near Belmont, Golden, New Bethel, but the area of rotation is right near the state line right now. So this thing is quickly shifting to the northeast, but it still may be producing some straight line wind damage, 40, 50, 60 mile per hour wind speeds, can't be ruled out. Red Bay Road, there's our updated scan east of Line Road. So this thing is right over the state line right now. Look at that. There is our updated wind shear rate. So we're looking at a weak to strong rotation, and just going back to our explainer graphic here. So we're getting some of that red mixed on in. So some stronger rotation showing back up. When this thing was moving through Tupelo, we had some very strong rotation. We had a little bit of that yellow pop on in there. So we have had some pretty good rotation at the lowest levels being detected today on radar, actually producing issues here on the ground where we live, tornadoes, wind damage, etc. So we are looking at some widespread issues, relatively speaking, across the region just because of this one storm complex. And we're about ready to close this one out, put this in the books, I think. Let's go back over and check out what's happening over here in Coffeyville and Water Valley and make sure that nothing's going off the rails there. Radar, let's go to our Memphis radar here and pop that on. And let's just hope there's nothing too terribly crazy going on in this. And at this point, we don't really see too much happening from a radar perspective. There could be a little bit of rotation, maybe trying to fester in that, but the environment is probably not too conducive to anything really strengthening back up here tonight. But never rule anything out here. The environment is not completely void of ingredients, so we'll have to watch and see how things go. But right now, as we come back into our North Mississippi radar, for those of you in Itawamba County, you're in the clear. This is now just a Tishomingo County situation, Belmont, Golden, Bethel, New Bethel, but the area of wind, rotation, etc., that is right here on the state line near the Pogo community, Alabama Highway 96, Alabama Highway 11, these locations west of Pleasant Site. This is where we have the greatest amount of strong wind potential. Again, west of Highway 11 in northwest Alabama. That's where this thing is right now. That's where the strongest wind would be. So east of Golden, right along the state line, northwestern parts of Alabama, northeastern Mississippi. So the tornado threat is quickly diminishing in Mississippi, and it would appear the tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire on time at 11:15. So I need some guidance as to what we're going to do after this coverage. Are we going to do a newscast, or what are we going to do? Just let me know at some point. And I'm going to stay with this until I get additional clarification, just to let everybody know that we will be.
Once this ends, we're doing a recap, and then we'll toss out.
Okay, gotcha.
Once you're done here, we'll do a recap with Stephanie, and then we'll toss out.
Gotcha. Okay, so sorry, well, we're just hashing things out here. We'll do a little mini recap on our news side here as we close things out, but the tornado watch is no longer in existence. The tornado warnings are about ready to expire. The last one is for this one that is now moving. The storm of interest is basically moving across the state line right now. So our severe weather threat in North Mississippi, the WCBI viewing area, is essentially done at this time. And we are going to just hang on here. Here's the big picture. You can see there's still some additional development back there near Water Valley. That's lifting northeast. That's going to affect Lafayette County. I'm not really too concerned about that for most of our area. And again, if you missed our 7-day forecast going into the week ahead, we are looking at a pretty muggy day tomorrow, 86 degrees. Temperatures well into the 80s, plenty of humidity. Our next storm chance is going to be Tuesday with a cold front that will swing on in here. And then we're looking at some cooler 70s across the region. But our rain chances tomorrow, not zero. We're going to cap it about 20-30% just to hedge. But right now, we don't think there's going to be a lot of activity around here, but it's going to be a warm and humid type afternoon. And we'll just see how it all plays out. So our severe weather threat, thankfully, tonight is on the way out. Our low tonight actually will be, go back into our forecast. Our low tonight, somewhere in the 60s. The storms are moving away, but still some more rain possible. And as we mentioned, yeah, mid-80s for highs, warm and humid. A little bit of rain possible, but going in tomorrow night late into our Tuesday, that's our next best chance for some more strong to severe storms and heavy rainfall around here. So once again, just to reiterate, it is 11:13. We are going to see this tornado warning expire at 11:15. So we will be on here for a few more minutes. Let's go back to our Alpha Insurance Camera Network in downtown Tupelo. Let's swap on over to our Lynx One computer real quick, or I can bring it up over here. I've got the magic of sources here. There we go. Okay, that works as well. You can see we do have a little bit of power. It looks like it has been restored to our Hilton Garden Inn there in downtown Tupelo. As long as we have that up, I'm just going to swing this around real quick. So some power has been restored to those areas, and we still have power just swirling our camera around 360 here in downtown. So this is downtown Tupelo. So there are reports of damage, issues, all that stuff up in the Tupelo area. So if you see power lines, don't go anywhere near them. Just go the opposite direction. If you have damage or you have power outages at your place, call your electrical provider and just try to be as safe as you can tonight. And let's just ride this thing out and make sure we get into the daylight tomorrow to make sure we are good to go. But right now, that was the view from downtown at our Fair Park location. Just looking at some of the traffic speeds around the city of Tupelo, things are moving on the major thoroughfares fairly well at this time. There is some, we bring back up our Viper source real quick. There we go. This is the Mdot traffic speeds. And we do have, some slow traffic over there on Veterans Memorial Boulevard where we did get reports of damage north of the Elvis birthplace location up towards the park there. So there are some slow travel speeds as we come back in closer to home here and show you the radar one last time. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire, folks. So let's come back to me real quick. Stephanie's in the studio, and I think we're about ready to put this event in the record books for a long duration event, several tornado warnings, a couple of tornado touchdowns, various amounts of damage across North Mississippi. The tornado warning has expired for Tishomingo County, North Mississippi. We still have a little bit of gusty wind moving into Alabama, but right now, no warnings, no watches, nothing problematic in the WCBI viewing area. Stephanie, so at this point, I think we're in fairly good shape. And with that, I'm going to end my weather coverage. I'm going to send it over to you to news for a little recap.
That's right, Keith. So several tornado warnings throughout our viewing area today. Confirmed tornadoes, one in Calhoun City, another in Pontotoc County and Tupelo. Just a lot going on this afternoon and into the evening. Now, these are the first images of Calhoun City. Our Stephen Pimpo is there now getting coverage. So he sent us a video just to kind of keep us updated. Several agencies are out now clearing those roads of debris and down trees. Crews are already working to get power lines restored so folks can get some of that power back inside of their homes. Now, Calhoun County EMA Director Randy Skinner says Calhoun City is in a state of emergency. The entire city is on lockdown at this time. There is massive damage, gas leaks, and tree limbs spread throughout the area. And those are just a few of the issues this tornado has produced. Now, moving on to the Tupelo area. Tupelo Mayor Jason Shelton says that emergency crews are currently assessing damage. Power lines are down in the road, so make sure you are in your home because it is just so dark outside right now. You don't really know what you're driving into, and it can be very scary just to really hit a power line or a tree. Also, there is damage of the Elvis birthplace. We do have a reporter that is out. We do not have video at that time, but maybe into our sunrise newscast and maybe into our midday, we can start getting more of those images for our viewers there at home. There is also another damage that has been reported for a roof collapsing into a apartment building. There's also some more damage into a neighborhood of Meadow Spring, I believe, but these are just some of the updates that we have for our recap. We will continue to provide more updates on our social media page. We know that it is late, but we do want to make sure that we have those updates for you all, just in case you are heading out in the morning. You will know to take an alternative route because some of those emergency crews will be working to clear out the roads. But Keith, if that's all you have and that's all I have, I think we can go ahead and send the folks a good night and just be safe, stay weather aware, do not go outside, just stay inside. It's already late, so just let the emergency crews take care of you, and hopefully by the morning there will be a clearer route to take to work or school.
Real quick, come back over here and just let's take up our computer real quick. You don't have to take this full, but Stephen Pimpo, our reporter out there in Calhoun City, you were just talking about that. This is some damage. He's just been tweeting some of the stuff out. You can see the tree damage here and some folks out and about clearing things here. So again, this is Calhoun City. We've got issues across the region tonight. Be safe. And we'll be following this all night long with the very latest on our social side and, of course, on WCBI News Sunrise starting at 4:30.